December 29, 1890, a U.S. Army regiment attempted to disarm a band of Lakota peoples. This band had been intercepted a day prior at an area known as Porcupine Butte in the Badlands of South Dakota by a branch of the 7th Cavalry of the United States Army. U.S. forces had deemed the leader of the Lakota band, a man known as Bigfoot, a, quote, fomenter of disturbances for his leadership of mostly peaceful resistance against American treatment of Native Americans. Tensions between the Lakota Sioux and U.S. Army forces were common for most of the 19th century, but they had been running especially high in late 1890. The Lakota had recently been asked by U.S. government agents to cease the practice of the ghost dance, a religious ritual that celebrated an expected revival of Native American life in North America and a decline in the negative effects of American settlers. It was in this context that the soldiers of the 7th Cavalry brought the band of about 350 Lakota to a site near Wounded Knee Creek to make camp for the night and await the arrival of the rest of the 7th Cavalry. With tensions running high between U.S. Army forces and the Lakota Sioux, it was decided that the attempt to disarm the group would be most safely achieved with the full force of the 7th Cavalry. Okay, the event that took place the next morning was a massacre. The 7th Cavalry went in an attempt to disarm the group. A shot was fired, and in the ensuing chaos, close to 180 Native Americans of the Lakota Sioux tribe were massacred. It's remembered today as the Wounded Knee Massacre. Okay, most of the information that I just read to you at the beginning of this video came from a paper that I wrote my senior year at Creighton. That was my senior research paper, and it talked about Wounded Knee and the historical legacy of the event and what it means today. And it's mostly for that, after writing that paper, that I've always wanted to go to Wounded Knee and see it. I didn't really have any expectations. I didn't know what to expect. But I can tell you that Wounded Knee was unlike any other major historical site that I've ever been to. I remember I pulled up and it was sort of like, this is it, because it's a rough dirt road that leads up to the cemetery, and a sign that explains the area. And really, aside from the gate and the memorial marker of the mass grave of the victims of the massacre in 1890, that's when it was constructed. I mean, that was about it. There wasn't really much up there. That said, Wounded Knee was really unlike any other historical site that I've been to, in that you could really feel the effects of the past in the present. What you're looking at right now is graffiti that was sprayed onto the entrance to the cemetery, talking about Native American history. Wounded Knee is located on the Pine Ridge Reservation, which is statistically the poorest place in the United States. And for that reason, I felt a little out of place. It's not unwelcome, but out of place. Even in my brief time that I was there, I had several individuals approach me and ask for donations or to buy something. One man asked me for a ride up the road to a friend's house, and I gave him a ride, and I asked to interview him, but he was clearly pretty uncomfortable with that idea. But he told me there was a lot of people that would love to be interviewed, but that they would probably say some things that I wouldn't want my students to hear. And I don't know if I've ever experienced a historical site where the legacy of the site can be so clearly felt in the present. And I think that's why, you don't see a big, expensive, well-organized memorial. It's not my place to make broad judgments or anything about a place that I really only spend about 3 hours in. So I'm going to link, above, I'll link to some sites put out. There's a really good site put out by the Oglala Lakota tribe that talks about the Pine Ridge Reservation, which again, that's where Wounded Knee is located. And it talks about the social issues of Pine Ridge, as well as a TED Talk on Pine Ridge and the history of America from an American Indian perspective. Okay, so this has been Wounded Knee, the stop in South Dakota. Go ahead and feel free to answer the questions above. Feel free to ask me questions and stay posted for a response video. Thanks for watching.